Excuse me. So I'm starting this thing called the Recording Artist Boot Camp. Okay, and it's basically going off of what I was talking about earlier today about how a lot of people let the recession get them down. You're not ahead of the curve. You're playing catch up. You started out a leader in the beginning of your career, whether it was school, music, whatever you're doing, and now you're a follower and you want to get back ahead of the curve, but you don't know how. Let me tell you the God's honest truth. You're depressed. It's okay. A lot of people became depressed during the recession. Um, in the beginning of the recession, I'm not even gonna lie, I was ahead. You know, I had a two-bedroom apartment, a car, lots of clothes, lots of music equipment, lots of just I'm not gonna say the finer things, but things that I enjoy. Okay. Moved to Pittsburgh, started law school. What happened was I went through this transition where I had to get used to people being jealous of me because I was a security guard, a self-employed. I started my own security company, and a lot of people were jealous of me because one thing guys like besides jewelry is to look like they're the man, and a bulletproof vest makes you look like a man. Okay, like you're the man. So I had to get used to that. I got down, but before that, man, I was making tons of money landscaping and doing a bunch of other stuff. But let's skip all of that. We're talking recording artist boot camp. This is one thing that I want you to realize. You can't let people who settle for less or who don't aim high or who don't take pride in having standards or good qualities that the common man appreciates, the common woman, the common family, Main Street, mom and pops are huge consumers of music, huge consumers of whatever business ideas you got going on, whether you want to come out with the next social network, the next Facebook, the next Instagram, the next whatever, or you want to put out movies, you want to be a director, you want to be an actor, whatever it is you want to be. Don't get this idea that you need the streets support or urban America. And urban America is divided in two. There's a main street that's urban America. There is a rich part of urban America. You can be urban and you don't have to be ghetto. That's two different things. Okay? You don't have to live in the projects. So don't let the project mentality cause you to think that being black is being street. Being black is being excellent. Being black is being whatever you define it as. There's many definitions of that. But 10 musicians, I'm looking at it right now on the vault.musicarts.com. Okay? I'm gonna share this on my Facebook. 10 musicians who are veterans saluting the heroes of music. All right, this shouldn't surprise you, but it surprises a lot of people. Here are 10 musicians that are veterans. Okay, now these are the greatest of all times. Okay, number one, Elvis Presley. Okay, veteran. Number two, Johnny Cash, veteran. Okay, now you're like, well, none of these people are black. Here comes number three. Number three, John Coltrane. Who doesn't know John Coltrane? Who does not respect John Coltrane? In the hip hop music, the smartest people, let me just tell you, are the beat makers, the producers, the DJs, the engineers. It's not that rappers aren't smart, but it's that a lot of rappers these days have dumbed down from the days of Pete Rock and CL Smooth, Rakim. Your lyrics aren't witty enough. Nas, Jay-Z, these people all were like the end of an era where it became cool to not sound intelligent. Okay? But your producer, your average hip hop producer, knows John Coltrane. You've sampled his music before. Johnny Cash, you've sampled him. Elvis Presley, you've sampled him. Okay? These are veterans from the military. Okay? These are people that worked for the United States government. Stop it already. Stop thinking that aiming high is uncool because it makes your friends happy. Your friends live in the ghetto. Start having friends that live in corporate America. It's not easy because they have high standards, but the higher standards your friends have, the more friends you have in corporate America, the less of a struggle you'll have trying to transition into corporate America, or at least sustain a livelihood in Main Street America. Tony Bennett, veteran. Here's one that's going to surprise you. It surprised me. Jimi Hendrix, veteran. So that's somebody, obviously, Jimmy used a lot of drugs, right? Like, he can't relate to the hood. You're thinking like somebody like John Coltrane, man, these people definitely can relate to the hood, in their time, right? Christopherson, MC Hammer, veteran. John Fogerty, veteran. Willie Nelson, veteran. BB King, come on. BB King is not black. BB King. BB King is the epitome of black America. Jimi Hendrix, epitome of black America. John Coltrane, epitome of black America. All these people are black and they were veterans. They served. And this is the thing. So what it really comes down to is decisions. What decisions are you going to make for your future? Are you going to let the stereotypical black person who tell you what you should feel, how you should live your life as a black man or a black woman or a black youth? Then it's no difference of you letting a stereotypical white person do the same thing. Either or, make the decision for yourself, because just like there's people nowadays saying you should dumb it down because they are, you should lower your standards because they are, you shouldn't strive or aspire to be so excellent because they aren't aspiring. Meanwhile, people are staying ahead of the curve, but they're eating government cheese. Same thing existed back in the day. Now, I'm not talking about anybody in a bad way or anything like that, but Jimi Hendrix, John Coltrane, and who else? BB King. These people were alive. I love Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is the man. I totally respect him, and I'm not trying to disrespect his memory, but he chose not to go to the military, and because that, he missed a great part of his career. You know what I'm saying? Where he could have been out, da 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 da. But that's the sacrifice that he chose. So I respect him for that. But Jimi Hendrix went to the military. He was alive in the same time. John Coltrane, BB King. Some of these guys, when they got out of the military, they didn't regret it. That's a part of their life that they were like proud of, they're proud of for the rest of their life. That's their legacy. So I want to read it too. Hold on a second. Let me see. You just gotta think twice, because what it all comes down to is being above the influence. Too many artists are letting their peers influence their decisions. So how are you going to be an influencer when you're letting that happen? 10 musicians who are veterans saluting the heroes of music, okay? Veterans are an important part of the fabric of society. And this I'm glad we're talking about this, because Veterans Day just passed. The brave men and women of the armed forces make tremendous sacrifices for our country. They defend us in times of peace and in war. Whether it's family, member, friend, coworker, or neighbor, most Americans know at least one veteran. But do you also know some of your favorite musicians are veterans? There are many musicians who might surprise you. Okay, let's go. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's talk about John Coltrane. Jazz composer, saxophonist. John Coltrane served in the Navy in 1945. I wish I would have read this on Veterans Day, but it's not too late. Enlisting the day after the United States dropped the first atomic bomb on Japan. After training in upstate New York, Coltrane was sent to Pearl Harbor. Impeccable. At Pearl Harbor, Coltrane soon joined the base's swing band, the Melody Makers. So while he was in the military, he joined the band. You could do anything you put your mind to it. Stop thinking that everything has to be so cliche, everything has to be so black and white. The world is not a black and white world. It's been a brave new world. Stop being a square. Stop settling for less. Because that's what's going to keep you from being successful if you do. At the time, the Melody Makers was a segregated group. Okay? So Coltrane was billed as a guest player to avoid official notice. Coltrane's first ever musical recordings were recorded with other Navy musicians in 1946. Later that year, he was discharged as a seaman first class. Can you believe this shit? He got an honorable discharge as a first class seaman. That is what you want, because that is the shit that is gonna make you be as successful as a Rick Rubin, as a Cohen, as a Rev Run, as these people. You want that impeccable record, you gotta do impeccable things. The streets is a short stop, but nobody has to sling a wicked rock or have a jump shot. You could get out of the streets, and then your life, your opportunities won't be limited. But you stay in the streets, your opportunities was limited. This man, after the United States dropped the bomb on Japan, joined. He didn't look and say, that's not my war. He said, I gotta feed my family, and not only that, I want to be impeccable. Okay? First class. Let's talk about Jimi Hendrix, one of the greatest guitarists of all time. Jimi Hendrix enlisted in the Army May 1961, only 19 at the time. The young prodigy was arrested for stealing cars and given a choice between prisoner service. Hendrix chose the Army. Smart. Within 8 months, Hendrix was an Army paratrooper and received special recognition as a Screaming Eagle. But Hendrix was unhappy in the armed forces, and the guitarist's rebellious conduct often received disciplinary action. He was discharged in 1962 due to an ankle injury. So even though, he really wasn't feeling it, he didn't quit. He got out because of an ankle injury. I mean, you could call it what you want. The man was a Screaming Eagle. You can't do no better than that. Let's talk about B.B. King, all right? Singer, songwriter, guitarist, record producer B.B. King is well known for his unique style of soloing and string bending that continues to influence many blues musicians to this day. Some of his greatest hits include classics The Thrill Is Gone, 3 O'Clock Blues, You Upset Me Baby. The legendary blues musician joined the U.S. Army during World War II. However, shortly after completing basic training, he was discharged based on his skills as a tractor driver from previous work. He was deemed essential to war economy. So, and there's so many more. So basically what I'm saying is, in life, you choose your friends, okay? If you have to lower your standards to be in a crowd, that's probably not the best crowd for you. I had to make those decisions myself. You know what I mean? The music industry is full of plenty of people. Get with the people that accept you for who you are, that don't want you to drop out of school, that don't want you not to be in law school or not to be a doctor because that's too nerdy or too much of a square for them. Get with the people that accept you as you are. because guys like Quincy Jones, what was he? Was he street? Was he more like a Frank Lucas, or was he a businessman? He was a businessman. He was one of the best to ever do it. We need people to be the best to never do it, or to ever do it. I do. I need people because, I can't do it by myself. When I graduate law school, I'm going to start an IP firm, an entertainment law firm. That's one of my goals. Um, if not, be a business manager and manage artists. But even when you have a management company, no one wears all the hats by themselves. I'm not trying to be some management company that's just a, a hole in the wall management company. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be the next Gamble and Huff. Black America, be excellent. Stop lowering your standards, okay? To be fly is not to be dumb, okay? To be fly is to be educated. Stay educated. Start enrolling in college. Get back to the golden. You want the golden era of hip hop to really come back? Then stack books, because that's what's going to bring back the golden era of hip hop. Not just when you stack books, but when you diversify, when you be original. It's not fly anymore just to be a pimp, hustler, and player. That shit is old. That's what's killing our youth. All right? It's fly to be a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, a cop, a firefighter, a politician. It's fly. That's what's going to get you the knowledge to be in corporate America. Don't try and get in corporate America begging or making these compromises that you end up regretting. Okay? Build your skills. Because rappers talk too much shit, but they can't back it up with skills, is what KRS One said, and he was right. All right? This game is hard to earn. That's what Guru said. He was right. But you know what? When you do earn it the right way, when you don't uh, compromise your standards, your moral, you're a person of character, you're impeccable, and you're iconic, and you're unforgettable. And like Nat King Cole said, that's what we need. Okay? Somebody that's unforgettable. All right? So think about it for a while and contact me. Recording Artist Boot Camp. I'm starting it. And it's something that we all need. We all need to get back to the drawing board a little bit, rehash things, um, solid music advice, solid music discussions, podcasts, etc., etc., etc. All right. No man is an island. Let's do it together. All right. Peace.